Great.
Me too, man.
Yeah, this is going to be really fun. Such a big passion for both of us behind financial freedom for kids. I think it's going to be really great. So, hello, everybody. My name is Josh Oakes, and today I have a really exciting guest with me today, and we are talking about something extremely important. It's financial freedom for your students. When it comes to money and their future, you know that here in Parent University, if you don't know about Parent University yet, we teach parents how to be safe and smart online, but we have a much bigger agenda for you and your family. You see, we want, and my personal agenda for you is to make sure that your students are employable, awesome people in the future. They can get that dream job, that dream career, maybe move out of your house. But it really, truly is my job in life to teach people how to have the skills to get a job just about anywhere, and a job that they like, that they genuinely 80% of the time like to do. Today, I have somebody that is a dear friend of mine who I absolutely admire, who is an absolute expert in the financial industry, but more importantly, an expert that's proven in teaching kids not digital literacy, but financial literacy. His name is Adam Carroll. Adam, I'm so honored to have you here today.
Josh, thank you. You are way too kind, man. I'm kind of in awe of what you've built with Parent University and how much incredible content there is.
Well,
and I have to tell you real quick, I'm using like half the videos to learn what my daughter is on right now on her device. So this is such good stuff.
That's an honor. And those of you that are watching, Parent University really helps you to become an expert on Snapchat, Instagram, and everything else so that you're a little bit ahead of your kids. Today, we're going to bring you ahead of your kids on some misconceptions that they have. Now, Adam, you have two things. One thing that I'm extremely proud of you doing that nobody else I've seen has done. First, you have a couple books out. And those of you that are watching, you can click the links below to learn about his books. But the important thing, the thing that I think parents are truly going to love, is a documentary that he created called Broke, Busted, and Disgusted. This is a documentary that you think, oh, he did some fundraising. Oh, neat, it's a passion project. It is so relevant and so awesome that CNBC picked it up, put it on TV. I DVR'd it because I'm so proud of you, Adam. I DVR'd it, and my DVR system caught Shark Tank. And as I'm like, wait, Shark Tank, did I DVR the right thing? And it said, coming up next in T-minus 2 minutes is Broke, Busted, and Disgusted, the documentary. I'm like, wow, the sharks are here. Adam Carroll is next. And then you went on to talk about financial literacy. But I want to ask you, on the topic of the movie,
yep.
What's one of the biggest misconceptions that people have? And I want you to bring up the biggest two, if you could. Biggest two misconceptions people have with financial literacy for their kids, for their future.
Well, I think as it relates to college, there's this idea that you have to have a college degree to be successful, which I am a pro-college person, but I am an anti-debt person. So if you are going to college or sending your kids to school, the idea that they have to go and they have to get a big, long 4-year degree or 5 or 6 year degree in order to be successful is patently false. Today, more than any other time in history, it's entirely possible for a young person to go get a 2-year degree and come out making as much or more than someone with a 4-year degree. So that's the first patently false assumption that most parents make. Secondly, there is an idea that it is your responsibility to make sure that your child can go to college, and not just any college, but the college that they want to go to. And I believe that some students have a dream university that can become their nightmare university when they start getting the student loan bills 4 years later, 4.5 years later. So we have to educate young people about not just the choices they're about to make with school, but the cost associated with those choices and the consequences of borrowing money for 4 years that could take you 20 or 25 years to pay back.
Yeah. Now, I went on your website, and those of you that are watching, you click the link below, and I get no money for this. Adam is a dear friend of mine, and I couldn't believe in this more strongly. As parents that are financially sound, that I really think that finance is a lot like marriage, in that you think, oh, I need to marry that beautiful person and I'll be happy. No. It's not about looks, right? That dream school. Oh, if I just marry that person, things are happy. No. There's personality is 100 times more important, and the real life is very different than how beautiful that person is.
Totally.
Harvard is the only one for me. No, there are better schools.
Yeah.
But if you visit the adamspeaks.com, there's a little button that says buy or rent. It's $4 to rent your movie and $7 to buy it. I highly suggest that people go rent it. $4, sit down, watch it. I saw it on CNBC, and I kept pausing it to do things, and I watched the whole thing. It was that good to see how debt has changed. Talk to us just really quickly. One more tip from the movie. What has happened with debt? How long does it take? Give us another tip from the film.
Well, the numbers actually we have to update too from the film. We put out 2015 numbers, and it's changed drastically since then. The average amount of debt carried by a student at that point was around $31,000 or $32,000. Today, it's closer to $40,000 for a student that starts, and this is just the average student borrowing money for school.
Yeah.
That number in itself may not seem like that much. You can go buy a car for $40,000 today. The challenge is that it takes 21 years on average to pay off that $40,000. So if you think about a kid coming out of school at 22 and they don't pay it off until they're 43, that's a long time to be paying a fairly significant payment. We're talking a $450 payment on that number.
But Adam, you don't understand. I'm going to get an amazing career that's three times as much money, and I'm guaranteed that job, Adam. So you don't understand.
Yeah, it's so true. And again, that is the misconception that we're in a way different environment today, that just because you have a degree does not guarantee you the job, the salary, the bonus, the benefits, any of that.
Obviously, I'm being a little aggressively facetious. Totally. I'm sorry, but I think a lot of people think that in America, and good for them. It is, but we are not guaranteed anything coming out, even from that dream school. And I know a lot of people, because I work with so many students, and you've spoken to 500,000 students over the last 10 years or so. Yeah. Am I correct?
Yeah. I've been on over 700 college campuses in the last 12 years.
Talking about finance, college scholarships, applications, and how to build a bigger life, which is really cool. You're actually one of my mentors, full disclosure, everybody, and a friend. And we are always sharing secrets and stuff. But I really think that people are looking at, if my kid gets into this dream school, which is great. And once again, pro college, but it doesn't guarantee something. So that debt of 20 years can be very, very scary.
Right.
Okay, I want to talk about the next thing. You've got a new book out, and you've got a book out called The Money Savvy Student. It's available on the link below. There it is, shiny and beautiful. It's on Amazon. Click the link below if you guys want to pick it up. It's less than $20. I'm 95% sure of that. But kids, you say something a little bit like kids are not on the financial plan forever, and you want to encourage them to understand that. Talk to us about that, and what do you mean?
Well, I believe that in today's day and age, kids are growing up in a very financially abstract world, meaning they don't have their hands on money on a regular basis. It's not tangible. They see their parents swipe a credit card. They see them use Apple Pay. We're paying online our bills, so they don't even see parents sitting down and writing checks anymore. So there's this sort of abstract issue around money where they don't have a firm grasp on the value or what things cost. And part of the challenge there is that when a kid is spending their parents' money, it feels like it's endless. There is no limit to how much money is spent. But when a kid is spending their own money, they're much more tight with it. So I believe that what parents need to do is, number one, tell your kids you will be off the payroll someday, and it's someday soon. Here's the date, right? Or here's about when you're going to be off the payroll.
I love that. Put a date. You're off the payroll then. Good.
Yep. And number two, I believe that young people today need to spend their own money, not their parents' money, but their own money. So one of the stories in The Money Savvy Student is a story of a young man named Carlos, whose parents gave him $50 a month. They gave him food and they gave him shelter. Mm-hmm. And it was at the age of 15, they said, anything you want above those two things, you're on your own. Mm-hmm. So he paid for his own school clothes, his school supplies, his toiletries, his cell phone, gas. And I said, what was that like? And he said, I had to learn how to manage my money really well. And while I saw all my friends breaking their cell phones and getting them replaced because their parents would cover it, or, wearing $70 jeans while he was buying things at the secondhand store, he's like, I was just much more intelligent with my money. And so we have to begin pushing financial decision-making down to the kids level so that they're making the decision and allowed to fail, so we can coach them and mentor them when it comes to making wise money decisions.
Boy, that is awesome. A lot. I've been talking in the digital safety space where I live about parents love your kids, don't care about them liking you as much. You're not a bad parent if they're angry at you because you took away their phone or you won't let them have Snapchat at the age of 10. Mom, I can't believe it. Sally's got it. It's okay. Those are great. And it's probably the same thing with this story you're telling. And it's not the right fit for everybody. You can turn the slider up and down and decide what's right for your family. But it probably wasn't terrible for that student in 10 years from now, because we're all raising kids that 10 years from now are well equipped to be awesome people. And that student is probably well equipped.
I met him 5 years, Josh, after we had this. He told me this story started. And I said, "Where are you at today?" And he said, "Well, I went to 2 years of community college because it was cheaper and I was on scholarship. So I got through my first 2 years for free. In that amount of time, I had saved $20,000. So he had 20 grand sitting in an account at the age of 20. And he said, I'm now going to finish my 4-year degree at a state school, but I'm applying for scholarships like it's my job because I think I can get through college completely free." Now, this is a kid who he understood the consequences of the money because it was his money.
Yeah.
It wasn't his parents' money. It was his money.
Yeah.
And I think that's the big change up. I meet students all day, every day who are on their parents' payroll, and they do not have the level of confidence and swagger that this kid had when it comes to money and even their life decisions.
Yeah, it's just like when you're living under your parents' house, 13 to 18, it's a great time to make mistakes because parents can be there and say, "Hey, I got you. Don't worry. You need that. You got a huge parking ticket. Let's figure out a way to get you to a job." You and I talked about this a few minutes ago. Get you a job that might be uncomfortable. You might be working per hour, and that's great. You might be paid minimum wage, but you're going to learn how that whole thing works so that in the future, you might want to figure out what you can do.
Absolutely.
But parents are going to be there to catch you, right? They're always going to love you.
Yep.
It's good to be tough early. I love that. You know, I was telling you something, be uncomfortable, find a job that's a little bit uncomfortable, but you're getting money in return for those hours. So it scares you and you go, wow, I need to be smart about that. Are there any jobs that you would suggest or any tips that you can suggest to people early on while they're still in high school that they can do?
Well, you know, whether you're in high school or you're younger than in high school, with my kids, you know, they get an allowance. Part of that idea was you're going to do work around the home. You're going to get a set amount of money and you're going to, make decisions on your own when it comes to money. If they want more, you know, we have things set up such as if you want to earn $5 extra, then you research a scholarship application and fill out the scholarship app and voila, you make money as soon as you showed me a completed application.
Nice.
Many students today, that's an uncomfortable thing. They don't want to write essays. They don't want to do the research. They don't see the power in it. Yet the better they get at that, the higher likelihood that they'll borrow less when it comes to their college experience. And they know where to go to get extra money. So if you're in college and you're running out of funds, yet you know from past experience that if you simply fill out scholarship applications, you have a pretty high likelihood of winning that money.
Yeah.
They'll be more likely to lean towards that as opposed to something else. So, you know, make them uncomfortable, have them do work like learn how to code, which is going to be an incredible skill.
Yeah.
I'm not above paying my kids $10 an hour to get on Code Academy or code.org and learn how to code for, 10 hours a week during the summer. I'd be all over them doing that.
What a great thing. You know, students are always saying, "Oh, Josh, you don't understand. I teach students how to use YouTube to teach other people cool stuff." And they go, "I'm going to teach people how to play video games because I saw this YouTuber, this influencer teaching people how to play games, and I'm so glued to it. I'll do that and I'll get into my dream school." That's not exactly what colleges want. They want you to teach somebody something, but it doesn't save a life or help someone when you're teaching them, when you're playing other people's video games. I'm always telling them, why don't you learn how to code, make your own silly video game that has a positive outcome, and then you write that in your college essay. Hey, autism has a problem with focusing. I made an app that reverses the colors so that it's a black background on this app instead of a white, and you can read the news and it's easier to focus because I have a little sister that had this problem. Wait, what? You did what?
Yeah.
There's also a video game built into it, and I play it, and it's kind of fun. See, that story is way more powerful. I love that you're also paying your kids to kind of do what you want them to do. Okay, let's talk one more time. You use your kids in a YouTube video that has 1.3, 1.5 million views. It's a TED Talk. And what is the name of that YouTube video?
The video is When Money Isn't Real, the $10,000 Experiment.
And you did an unsanctioned test on your kids where you played Monopoly and you gave them 10 grand each or something like that. Is that right?
Not each, but yeah, 10 grand total sitting on the kitchen table. We played Monopoly with real cash.
Real cash. That's a lot of money.
And the reason is I wanted to find out, would they play differently if the money were real? Meaning, in today's abstract world, money is just slips of paper. It's Monopoly money. It makes, there's no feeling to it, no emotion to it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really hard to break a $50 bill or a $100 bill. And yet you could easily swipe a card for $47 and not think twice. So I wanted to see, would they play the game differently if they actually had cash on the table? And in fact, they did. They became more conservative. They planned out their decisions well into the future. Everything changed about how they played the game because of the cash we used.
And that's on your website as well, right?
It is. Yep.
Great. So you guys can click the link below to watch his TED Talk, which has done very well, where he uses his kids as a positive example. I love that. So Adam, let's talk one more time, just real quick. Once again, for those of you watching right now, we have Adam Carroll live here, and he is pro-college, but not pro-debt. And I could not, this is why I had him on, is because I'm 100% of that. There's a great school out there for your students. It might not be Harvard or the top 20 schools. You've seen me feature college application experts on here. You got to apply to a bunch of them. You have to do the best you can at an early age to ask, what does success look like on that college scholarship application?
Yeah.
What does a college application look like? In middle school, it's not too early to print out those things and put them on the refrigerator and say, how are we going to apply to our dream schools? And then what do these applications for scholarships look like, right? It's not too early to do that. Adam has said that he gets his kids to start filling them out. He gives them $5 to fill it out. And gently, in a positive, good way, you're getting your kids conditioned to better understand what the real world's like, getting that opportunity. Adam, talk to me one more time. What's another tip from your book that people can click the link below to learn more about? What's another tip on getting your kids financially savvy?
One of the things that I do with them that most parents don't necessarily think about doing until later in life is they have two accounts. They have a savings account, and the savings account for us has required minimums. So by the time our kids are 5, they have to have $300 in cash in their emergency fund. By the time they're 7, they have to have $400. By the time they're 9, they have to have $500 in cash in that emergency fund. And people will ask me, Adam, what kind of emergency would a 9-year-old have? And my point is that they're not going to have a $500 emergency, but they will always have $500 in emergency cash. And if they have it at 9, they'll have it at 19, and they'll have it at 29 and 39 and 49. We're setting the right habit right now of that emergency fund. Secondly, they have an investment account. And the investment account, essentially what we've set up is that the kids put money into their invest jar every single month. And I match that jar up to $25 at the end of every month. We call it the family 401k plan. Wow. So the kids put in money in their invest jar. At the end of the month, I have them bring their jar down, and whether they have $15 or $20 or $25 in, I double it. And then we invest that in a custodial account through E-Trade. And then that money usually goes to buy an S&P 500 index fund, or maybe a stock that my kids want to buy, like Microsoft or Hershey's chocolate, or something that's very capital efficient and pays good dividends, as an example.
And it's their money, so they're watching it.
They're watching it every month. We pull up the screen and go, look, you earned, that one share earned you $5. That was money you didn't have to
passive
earn.
Income, which you're a genius at, and you teach people all the time.
That's right.
Getting out of the rat race.
So my kids become less interested in buying stuff and more interested in buying assets and having emergency funds, and knowing that if they want to buy something, they'll generally save up for it or they'll plan for it, but they've got it in one of those funds, either the emergency fund or the investment account. And my goal, very candidly, Josh, is before my kids go to college, I want them to have an MBA. So I want them to have an MBA before they go to college. And that MBA stands for a massive bank account. Right? Before they go to college, have a massive bank account.
MBA, that's great. That's really awesome. Oh, I love that. Adam, you're so awesome to talk with. So one more tip, I think that's really important that people understand here is definitely not against college, but definitely pro. How do we become more savvy? There's two homework assignments for everybody watching this video or listening to this audio podcast. One, go watch Broke, Busted, and Disgusted for $4, renting that, or $7 to buy it. There is a reason why CNBC picked up this video and said, wow, there's a lot of relevance here. And in fact, the numbers have increased and the damage that you talk about is actually getting worse, but it's still it's an amazing film, something that everybody needs to watch. For $4 to $7, you need to go watch Broke, Busted, and Disgusted. Go to adamspeaks.com right now and get it. Also, Adam has such great tips over the last 500,000 people he's talked to get his latest book that's on adamspeaks.com. The one that's in the middle, you'll see it there. If you click on the link, it's in the middle as you scroll down halfway on the page. It is unbelievable, the tips and the tactics and the stories that you tell people. Everybody that's in Parent University knows that there's a lot that they don't know. We all know that, right? I was researching Bitcoin last night. I'm like, wow, 3 years ago, I should have put a little bit of money in Bitcoin. How dumb. And there's a lot of things that we don't know. There's so much that I don't know. And Adam brings a lot to the table. It's very, very different these days. Adam, I want to thank you for coming on here today. Any last words that you have?
Oh boy. I think the one thing I want to leave your listeners with, Josh, is that if you raise your children well when it comes to money, they will live a bigger life. I think there's this misnomer that, I just want my kids to be happy. I just want them to be successful. I just want them to be, whatever. I'm all for that. In order to make that happen, one of the things you can do as a parent is begin pushing financial decision-making down to your kids and let them struggle with money. There is magic in struggle. A good friend of mine has a saying, and I'll leave you and your audience with this, Josh. Her saying is, no pressure, no diamonds. That if your kids aren't feeling pressure around, making those financial decisions, writing an essay, learning how to apply for scholarships, building an app, learning how to touch type, whatever it may be, no struggle, no diamonds, no pressure, no diamonds. So keep that in mind as you parent these kids to be ultimately successful in their life.
It's okay to love your kids. You can still be a great parent if your kids don't like you in certain situations, right? Love means that they may not like you, especially with digital devices that I have around here somewhere, right? Your kids are on these all the time. They're addicted to them. You give them this $800 little Ferrari that could hurt them and other people. And everybody that's watching this, this is what we talk about in Parent University for $9 to $15 a month. There is so much in here, right? You give your kid... When your kids are 15 and a half or 16, you might help them with a car a little bit, or you might get them something, an old beater upper, right? And that car could cost a bunch of money. Would you keep the keys to that car? Absolutely, Josh. Of course. I bought it. It could kill somebody. It could hurt somebody. Would you want to be able to look inside of that trunk to make sure that there's nothing illegal in there that could hurt your family, the reputation, kill somebody else, hurt somebody? Absolutely, Josh. Well, remember, everyone, when you're giving your kids these devices, this is a car that you've given them at a much younger age than 16 years old. This is a Ferrari. It's not an old beat up car like my parents helped me buy that I had to push on dates and I broke down on. This is a very fancy vehicle, and it can hurt someone very badly. So what Adam's telling you here today, and what I strongly am behind, is your kids don't always have to like you for you to be able to love them, and decisions you make might be hard, and it is perfectly okay to do that. Yeah. I don't need to know the password to my kid's phone. They're 11. They need to have their privacy. I would strongly disagree with that. You should know you have the keys to their car when they're 16, because it could badly hurt your professional career if something that they do that's tied to your name, and you should have the same opportunity here. Protect them. There are some very bad people out there that we want to make sure that you know about. So, Adam, sorry for that little tiny tirade, but we want to make sure that we're putting a little bit of that digital safety into everything.
It's great.
thanks for coming on today, brother. You're amazing.
Josh, thanks for having me. Keep doing what you do.
Thanks, man. Talk to you guys soon. I really appreciate it.